We have with us in our studio today John Richard of the Pillsbury United Communities. John, welcome to our show.
Thank you very much.
Now, tell us more about the Pillsbury United Communities.
Okay. Pillsbury United Communities is a nonprofit service provider working in Minneapolis. We're one of the oldest nonprofit service providers in the area. We go back for about a little more than a century. Our origins are with the settlement house movement. Are you familiar at all with settlement house philosophy?
Not too well.
Settlement house philosophy came from the old world, from Great Britain, I believe it was originally, at the time of the first industrialization. And settlement house people were opening up community centers in urban areas as slum areas were developing as a result of the industrialization. The philosophy was a shift from the old model of charitable giving. Rather than seeing the purpose of a community center of social service as to give charity to people, settlement house philosophies always emphasized empowering people. The idea is within every community, within every individual are assets. So even though a lot of time has passed, there's been a lot of history, there's been several name changes, Pillsbury has always maintained this philosophy that what we see ourselves as doing is developing relationships with communities, relationships with individuals, helping folks identify assets, and helping people build those assets to help themselves.
Now, in your mission statement, it says this, the program offered are not about handouts or charity, but they encourage give and take relationships. Explain that.
Well, like I said before, everybody has something to give, everybody has needs. And we recognize that both within everything we do. We depend a lot on volunteer participation from our community members. We work with people to identify what their existing skills are, what their strengths are, rather than only look at their weaknesses. We see ourselves as agents of social change more than charity. You know, we work with people to help identify what are the root causes of urban poverty, what people can do as individuals and as communities to address those.
Okay. Now, if you had to, say, gauge or measure your success, how would you go about doing that?
And that's a really, I wouldn't say a tricky question, but a complicated question, because we offer services right now through 4 community centers and 2 other projects. Our community centers are each a bit different depending on the neighborhoods they're in, the circumstances. And within those centers, there are many different programs. So what does success mean? Success could mean, like, I can talk about my work. I work in the Phillips neighborhood in our Waite House Neighborhood Center. My work is primarily focused on employment, adult employment, and work readiness. So what does success mean? Success means people finding jobs. That's a very easy measure. We can count how many people have we helped this year who have found jobs. But we like to take it a bit further. How many people have we helped this year who have found jobs but then are going on to get a GED now that they're employed, who've also made a plan of what they're going to be doing 5 years from now. Success could also mean we've helped somebody find a job, they're in a better economic circumstance. Now they're coming back and helping people learn the skills that they learned as they were in our job search process. Okay? I would say for each of our programs it's going to be a slightly different measure, but the philosophy carries through.
Okay. Now, how do you go about determining what neighborhood gets services?
That's a good question. I'm not sure if I've got a ready answer for that. I know that we locate, where we locate our areas of service are in pockets of poverty, and usually, always in neighborhoods where there are communities that have been traditionally disenfranchised. Communities with large numbers of minority people, recent immigrants.
Now, who's all involved with this effort?
You mean?
In terms of who work for you and...
Oh, sure. Well, we have, I think about 200 or so staff people right now, scattered in our different centers. I know in Waite House, where I work, we have about 4,000 people come through our doors every year. That's an estimate. People are coming looking for help getting food subsidy. People are coming looking for help getting job training. We have very extensive youth programs. You name it, we're doing it.
Okay.
And also we're doing a little bit of organizing out there. All of our centers are supportive of the neighborhood groups around them. People are involved in campaigns for community safety, voter registration, anything that's going to help people take charge of their own communities.
Okay. So could anybody needing help just walk in and then get service or get help?
Oh, that happens many, many times every day. Now, when you say, can anybody walk in and get whatever they need? Maybe, maybe not. We can't do everything. We have limitations. One thing we're very proud of is that if somebody walks into one of our neighborhood centers, speaks to somebody, if we don't have a service that'll benefit them or their family, we can always refer them to somebody who will. We don't like to turn people away empty-handed at all.
Okay. Now, there may be individuals out there who may be interested in saying maybe they have another program or another idea that they would like to bring on board. How do they go about doing that?
We're always open to ideas. I would say like I said, we believe in building on the assets of the community. The best feedback we can get is from the people who are using our services. So there's an ongoing conversation. We're getting ideas from the neighbors of our community centers, from the participants in our programs. They're the best indication of what's needed in the neighborhoods. Again, the example I can give for Waite House is we're the only one of our centers that has a lunch program, but every day we're offering free lunch to the neighbors. Staffs, volunteers, we usually eat in that lunchroom with people. It's the best way to get a handle on what's going on in the neighborhood of any that I can think of. It's creating a very different type of conversation if you're sitting across the table from a few folks sharing a meal with them than if you're sitting on the other side of a desk with an interview form. So we're always keeping our ear to the ground, what's going on in the community.
Okay. As far as finance is concerned, how are your operations financed?
Well, like everybody else in the nonprofit sector, we're challenged right now. There's something, I don't know if there's an official name for it. The nonprofit sector is always in an interesting position during economic downturns. Our funds tend to go down just as needs go up. So we do get significant support from the United Way of the Twin Cities and from multiple other funders. And we do everything we can to be able to streamline our services, tighten our belts so we can continue offering services even with tight budgets.
Okay. Now, for people who are interested in getting involved as far as volunteering is concerned, how do they go about
Well,
doing that?
I think the best thing to do would be call Waite House Neighborhood Center, and our number is 612-721-1681. Just say you want to do some volunteer work, and people will jump on that.
Anything else you would like to share? Any insights?
I would say the only thing I guess I would add on to what we've said so far is the importance of hanging in with people. One thing we've learned in our work is people who are struggling with urban poverty need support in multiple ways, and that's one thing I'm really proud of the way we approach our work with families and individuals is we try not to segment people into strict program areas. This person needs job health. This person needs help finding suitable housing. What we want to do is look at the whole picture so that person can develop a plan to get their whole life in order.
Now, what were those numbers again, or is there a website also?
There is a website. It is PUC-MN.org. And the number is 612-721-1681.
Thank you very much. It was nice talking to you.
Very nice, thank you.